Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to move one of the Jeeps out of the garage, then actually create all the interior details, the shelving, the equipment, all that sort of stuff, and then make some final changes to the forest surrounding the garage itself.
The first thing we're going to be looking at will be the floor. This time we're going to be adding a bit more variety by using some gravel, stone, and the base material, light grey concrete powder. If you're following along, don't worry too much about replicating the exact pattern here. The key point is to add a bit of randomness to the floor and show that there's a bit of wear and tear from continued use over a long period of time.
With the floor updated, it was time to move one of the Jeeps out of the garage to give us some real space within there to create some really nice details, and then I'm just adding some coarse dirt beneath the tyres to make it look like it had driven out itself. With the tyre tracks complete, it was then time to look within the garage and start work on all those shelving units you saw in the intro.
To create these shelves, we're going to be making use of spruce trapdoors again, this time for the platform the equipment will rest on. We'll then add some oak trapdoors to either side to create the frame that keeps it all up. At the bottom of the shelf, you can see I'm adding some spruce signs to create the bottom trim. I then follow this up with some equipment, such as a jukebox, daylight sensor, light grey shulker box, anvil, scaffolding, and a vertically placed barrel. This makes a really nice busy look with lots of detail.
For this next set of shelves, we wanted to make it look as if these had been added over time, kind of as and when they were needed. So these needs to look a little bit random, so they're different sizes, different heights, all that sort of stuff. And once I was happy with how these were looking, I'd then come in and adding like little pots, item frames, even minecarts, basically just to make it look as if the mechanics in this garage have just added random bits and tools and materials up onto these shelves over the lifespan of this garage. Now I'm making one small change to the workbench at the bottom of these shelves, making it one continuous workbench and then adding the same items as we've used on the shelves above. And with that complete, it was time to use and randomise the same techniques for the same shelving units on the other side of the garage.
For the back of the garage, we're going to be making some large workbenches. These will be made up of barrels, spruce trapdoors to keep up with the theme, fences on the sides to hold up the top section, where again we'll add some barrels and then some spruce stairs. Throw some more trapdoors in the centre here to act as a utility shelf, and then copy this across to the other side, almost like there's a workbench for each of the vehicle that gets stored in the garage. We can really start to see this all coming together now with everything that we've added so far. Now it's time to take it up to the rafters, where we can add some extra details to really make this come to life. The first thing I'm adding here is two minecarts, one with a furnace and one with a chest. I also like to give it a little nudge just to make it seem a little bit less uniform. I then followed this up with some rails running over two horizontal barrels to give the impression that they're strapped down, and then a chest and two bookshelves to finish off that rafter. Moving over to the other rafters, these are much of the same as the first rafter, with some exceptions of using some additional blocks such as a smoker, green carpet and wool, and different coloured shulker boxes to keep it busy and varied.
Now it was time to do a little bit of work to the forest outside the garage. First, I'm removing the trees that we didn't like, landscaping a little bit, and then adding in brand new trees just to make this feel like a really lush tropical jungle, right before adding two final details that will bring us to an end of this Let's Build a Jeep garage.
Right here, here's a neat little trick. So what you're going to do is get a 2-block gap, throw a slab in there. Then what you want to do is put an armor stand in, put the helmet on, put that grass back there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm well impressed by that. With Josh's final detail of the employee helmet being left outside the garage, it was time to come into the garage again just to add one final detail. Here you can see me using an iron fence and a grindstone basically to create a little pulley system, as if the mechanics in this garage need to ever lift anything heavy, they could use this that's hanging down. And on that note, it brings us to the end of this Let's Build a Jeep garage. We've got the Jeeps themselves, the garage, all the shelving units, the workstations, and then we've also completed our detail of the outside forest, making it really feel like a lush tropical jungle. Thank you all very much for keeping with us on this series, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And yeah, we'll be back with you with another Let's Build shortly.